Good afternoon. It's a demand is the main aspect in the unit 1 we are talking about. Unit 2, demand analysis. What is demand? What is law of demand? What are the components of what are the factors that influence the demand? These aspects we are going to cover. So if you look to the demand analysis, first look to the what is demand. The demand, very simply saying, refers to the wants backed by the necessary ability to pay. When you say wants, you can as well say you should be able to know the difference between a need, want, and desire. When you say need, it is a feeling of deprivation. When you say want, it is a desire for a specific satisfier. Suppose you are hungry, that's a need. You feel hungry. The feeling of deprivation of not having the food is the need. When there is a need, you have a desire to eat a samosa or a vegetable burger or a McDonald's um, burger, the specific product for which your mind is prepared is the we can call it as want. Yeah, if you have want, that is not enough. You need to have money also to buy it. You may have a desire to have breakfast in a five-star hotel, but you cannot afford to pay. Then there is no demand. When wants are supported by the affordability to pay, we say it becomes a demand. The word demand will be there. In fact, if you look from a macro angle, every country looks three aspects. Number one, people. Without people, there cannot be demand. So what is the size of population? For example, the demand in India is 11 times more than what is there in the Australia. The population in Australia is one tenth of India's population. So obviously, when there are no people, no demand. Hence, people must be there. Number two, there must be ability to pay. That means per capita income should be good in the country. Number three, you must have desire to buy. When you have these three, we can call them as a demand for a good at a given price is the quantity of it that can be bought per unit of time given for the given price. At a given time, at a given price, how much quantity of demand is existing? How much quantity of goods are being desired? That is called demand. So that you must be very clear about these three aspects. Number one, quantity desired at a given price. Number two, it is the demand at a price for a given time, and it is a quantity demanded for a particular time period. It could be one day, 1 month, or whatsoever. What are the determinants of the demand? The determinants of the demand, you can say, number one is the function. The word function is employed to show how dependent variable and explanatory variables are having a relationship. So what we do in case of the functional relationship, we say quantity demanded is the function of the price. If you take only one factor for a given price, what is the quantity, we will know. If you are taking the different factors, function of price, income of the person, and you have substitution products. So function of price, if you take, it is called dem, price demand. Function of income, if you take, it is called income demand. Function of the supplementary goods or complementary goods, if you have, we call it as cross demand. Like that, the name will undergo change for the demand, which we will see in the subsequent slides. That you must remember that the relationship is functional. What do you mean by functional? I don't have to explain you because all of you are engineering students. So you have a price, income, or substitution. These three are called explanatory variables, and Q is called explained variable. Or you can call them as independent variables, this as dependent variable. That functional relationship has to be taken care. So when we go for this, you find that the quantity is the function of price, and we go for this. Then you find, let us know what is law of demand. The law of demand, Alfred Marshall has defined it, that other things being equal, greater the amount to be sold, smaller must be the price at which it is offered, in order that it may find purchasers, or in other words, the amount demanded increases with a fall in price and diminishes with a rise in price. So when you talk about law of demand, it is an inverse relationship between the quantity demanded and price. Let us take a hypothetical example. Hypothetical example, let us say your price per apple. Each apple is 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 40 rupees, 50 rupees. Suppose these are the prices available. Assuming the most of the varieties are open and other things being constant, the quantity demanded of apples will be low at 100 if the price is 50. When price comes down to 40, many people will buy the apples, it will be 200 apples will get sold. When it is reduced to 30, 300 apples will get sold. 20, 400 apples will get sold. So if you take this, if I just show this on your graph, you can see that this is a zero origin, y-axis. Let me take price on y-axis, quantity demanded on x-axis. So if you take quantity demanded, the first one is 100, second is 200, third is 300, fourth is 400, 500, like that. Then you on the y-axis, let us say each one I take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. When the price was 50, quantity demanded was only 100. When the price was 40, quantity demanded was 200. When price was 30, it was 300. When the price was 20, it was 400. So if you join these things, you are getting a curve which falls from left to right. It is called inverse ratio. When the price is 40, you are having this much. When the price is 30, if it is reduced, quantity demanded is increasing. From Q1 to Q2, it is increasing for a change in price 1, P1 to P2. So if this is reduced, if you call this as A, this is B, B divided by A will be your change in the quantity demanded for a given change in price. So this It falls from left to right, and it is a demand curve. Will have a change like this. So if when you project them in the graph, you should be able to do that. So the demand curve can be drawn as price, quantity demanded. You can draw a curve like this. If this curve is like this, we say elasticity is high. What do you mean by it? That means the response of the quantity demanded for a small change in price from P1 to P2, if you reduce the price, the quantity demanded is increased from Q1 to Q2. So this more response will come by a given small change in price. Whereas if I draw the curve slightly like this, you will have high change in the price like P1 to P2, very small change in the quantity demanded will be there Q1 to Q2. So this is less elastic, this is highly elastic. That kind of change we will have, we will discuss in detail in the elasticity of demand in the coming slides. But what are the reasons for this law of demand? Number one is law of diminishing marginal utility. What do you mean by this? Law is a principle. Diminishing is falling. Marginal means additional. Utility means benefit. The benefit derived by the consumer as he goes on increasing the consumption of a new unit, the additional unit he consumes will give him lesser satisfaction than the predecessor unit which you have enjoyed earlier. That is called law of diminishing marginal utility theory. I can simplify it. When you eat the first Royal Gala apple, how sweet it will be. You finish that. Take the second one. Second one also will be sweet, but it will not give you as much taste as first one has given. Suppose you finished second apple also. Take the third apple. Definitely it will not give as much taste as the second one has given. So this is what we call it as it goes on changing as the marginal utility will start falling like that. That's number one. Number two is substitution effect. People would like to search for alternatives. Let us say apple is boring to you. You will eat one banana. Suppose banana is boring to you, you eat sapota. So as long as you have substitution, the behavior of the consumer undergoes a change. Similarly, income effect. If income is reduced, he will consume less. If income is increased, he will consume more. Similarly, demand will also depend on the new consumers. For example, good olden days shampoo was used only by the rich people because it was sold in the bottle, and bottle was priced high, about 200 rupees. Many people could not afford. What chick shampoo or other shampoos have introduced in the 80s, later 80s, is they started packing in sachets, and each sachet was sold at 1 rupee. Today, of course, maybe 5 rupees, 10 rupees, but it was only 1 rupee. So 1 rupee shampoo was taken. Then a person, instead of buying a Rita and then doing it, he simply takes the sachet and squeezes it and throw it off, and then he pays 1 rupee. So a rickshawala also can use shampoo. So new users will come with your technology change in packing. Similarly, several uses. Somebody was using Vaseline only for smoothing the what do you call the body. Nowadays, some people started using applying it here on your lips. Then somebody added some taste to it and sweetness to it and several uses. Same product is used for different uses. So uses will increase, multi uses or psychological effects also. All these things play a role in increasing a law of demand, how demand get increases, decreases, etc. However, there are some exceptions to this theory. Number one, conspicuous goods like esteem goods. If somebody feels prestigious to go in the Benz car, or if you wear a diamond necklace. See, these are all esteem goods. If price is less, people won't buy. If price is more, they consider they want to project themselves as rich. So obviously, price the demand curve will not fall. The demand curve will be going up. That means you will not have a falling demand curve. Instead, you will have a demand curve like this. As the price goes up, the demand will be going up. So this is called Giffen paradox. Esteem goods. Giffen paradox will Giffen has identified and he has done a research, empirical research, and brought out that inferior goods will be purchased only when you have barely minimum income. As the income increases, instead of demand increasing, demand for inferior goods comes down. So this is opposite to the income demand. Similarly, future expectations about prices. If you think that if you assume that the prices are going to be increased, then you will buy more today even though price is increasing. Then irrational consumer also. Irrational means he is not rational. Rational means purchasing the behavior of a consumer is to get maximum out of minimum sacrifice. That is rational. Irrational is other than that behavior. That means you purchase because you are instinctively provoked to buy. Most example I can give you is for the narcotics that you buy, drugs people buy. They buy even the price is high. And the last one is ignorance or unawareness of the price. Unaware, if you don't know about the prices, and people try to exploit you because you don't know the prices. So the types of demand which we have discussed just now: price demand, income demand, cross demand. Price demand is when the price and quantity demanded. Price as a factor for determining the quantity of demanded. Income demand means income is shown on the y-axis, and the quantity demanded is shown on the x-axis. So what happens is the income is shown here and quantity demanded is shown here, and it will be going like this. As your income increases, quantity demanded also will increase. So here income 2, this is income 1, then you will have Q1 and Q2 as it goes up. So in that way, where the income increases, demand increases, except Giffen's paradox, which we have already discussed. Then the cross demand means demand for your product depends upon the demand for the substitute products. That means, let us say, demand for the quantity demanded if you take, and the price of X and Y. Let us say price of X has fallen, one product. Let us say coffee price has gone up. If coffee price has gone up, some of you may shift to the tea. So demand for tea will go up. So the demand for tea depends upon the demand of the coffee. These are substitute products. So if the coffee price of a coffee increases, the quantity demanded will come down, no doubt. But quantity demanded for tea will be going up. So this is called substitution effect. The quantity demanded for coffee will come down, quantity demanded for tea will go up. This is called substitution effect. Whereas if you go for the complementary goods means if I buy the razor once, double-edged blade with four edges of blade, I have to buy the cartridge if I have to, unless I replace my razor. So the cartridge which I buy, the demand for cartridge goes up if my razor gets sold. If car is sold, the petrol also will get sold. If petrol prices go up, the car demand for the car may not come down, but usage of car will come down. So like that, it is the complementary goods. In case of complementary goods, inverse ratio. So this is about the types of the goods we must remember. Then all the three I have explained: price demand, income demand, and cross demand. So substitute goods I have explained you, and complementary goods I have explained you. Thank you.